Well, hey everyone. I would like you to meet my mom. Her name is Becky Sharon. Hey, Mom.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Great. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring my mom on is because she's actually a brain health coach. And, Mom, I want you to explain what that is. She is accredited through, what is it called? Amen?
The Amen Clinic, right?
The Amen Clinic, which is like the premier health coaching or brain health coaching. Yeah. And
Yeah.
she's actually getting her PhD also in brain health. So, Mom, will you tell us a little bit about what brain health is? And then I want to segue into talking about like how it can help us as realtors.
Okay, sure. Well, brain health, the brain is where everything starts. It's where our memories
True.
live. It's where we think. It's what we point to when we mean our mind. We
Right.
point to our brain. So it takes care of every function in our body. And so brain health to me is so very important for aging, for understanding what stops us from getting where we
Can you
want to be.
stop us from aging? Do you...
Well, it can help you age more gracefully, maybe.
Super.
Longevity can. It really can. It's kind of amazing
That's
what's
cool.
possible when you really understand all of the conversation that goes on inside your head
Yeah.
that people can't hear, but it sure sounds like people can hear what you're thinking inside your head.
Yeah, mine sounds like you. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, that's like a good segue because we do talk a lot about that. It's like, yeah, the conversations you have in your head, and like we all know that we're like so mean to ourselves in our head. So, like, one thing that we deal with as agents that you and I have talked a lot about is it's a cold call commission sales job, right? And so we know we need to call people and we don't because of all the crap that we're saying. So, like, can you help us? I don't know, like, make that stop.
Well, guess what? We might not want it to stop, but we
Okay.
may want to recognize what that is. What is that talk in your head? What's that conversation going on? Where did it come from?
Yeah,
Like, it sounds 100% true.
it
Like,
does.
it sounds real and true and absolute.
Well, it's
So,
like mine says like, well, I don't want to like bother them. It's too early to call. Like they don't know me or like they do know me, like they're my relatives, but I don't want to like I don't want to.
I don't wanna. It's I
Yeah.
don't wanna. I don't feel like. I don't wanna. I can't. It's all of those I don't wannas.
Right.
Or we go do it and we go, okay, and you take a deep breath and you hold on and you muster all the strength you can and then you rush through it. I did it.
Right. I did it.
Yay.
It's done.
It's done. I'm done. That's all I can do today. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I did one. They were
I
mean
did
to
one.
me. I'm done. I can't do it again.
They were mean to me, yeah. And really all of that, and it may sound cliche even. It's called a limiting belief.
Okay.
We have limiting beliefs that we are aware of, we hear, and then there's a whole bunch of them we don't even hear. We don't even
Oh,
recognize.
okay.
So part of the conversation that goes on in our head, well, most of it is actually made up from our beliefs from from the time we can remember anything, from even before. It's beliefs that have been instilled in us from childhood. Like there's
Hmm.
this great story, I love it, and it's about this young girl and her mom, and they were cooking dinner. They were cooking a big family dinner, some birthday dinner or something, and her daughter takes out her roast and she's going to put it in a pan and she cuts the ends off and she puts it in the pan and puts it in the oven, and the mom goes, why are you cutting off the ends of the roast? And she goes, because that's how you did it and that's how grandma did it. And she stopped and her mom started laughing. She said, that's because the pan was too small.
Right.
But that belief we take with us like it's an absolute truth. And there's
Right.
so many of them. We believe things like, I was born this way. I was just born this way. This is how I am.
Hmm.
So, so when we look at those beliefs, if they are if we look at where we're going, we want to be a real estate agent, we want to be successful, and we know the number one thing is we actually have to make calls.
Right.
Like that's the very first thing you tell me all the time. They have to make calls.
Right.
And then we know that, and we
Yeah.
go get our education, and we do everything we need to do. And then it comes time to make the call, and we just stop, we freeze.
Yeah.
And so it's first like, what is going on in your head? I can't. I don't feel like it. You have all kinds
like
of
I don't know what to say. I don't know what they're gonna say. Like, what if they don't like me? What if they do? Like all this, right?
What if I don't know what to say after they say okay?
Right.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And those are all predicting something. It's like you're making up the future instead of going, I have to make a call. Here's my script. The next thing is to pick up the phone and make a call. Or the next thing is to pull out my cell phone and make a list of the people that I need to make with their phone number for an hour. And then the next hour, I'm going to call all those people. However you structure your day, when we get anywhere where our brain goes, oh my gosh, this is new. I don't know this. I might not know this. I don't know. And it starts with a lot with, I don't know this because I've never experienced it. So I don't want to do it. I don't know. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be whatever.
Right.
But it's interesting, when we were kids, when you were a little girl and I said, you're going to go to gymnastics. Like if you'd never, you remember probably your first day of gymnastics being, how did you feel?
Scared.
And you probably had all kinds of thoughts like, what?
Right. Like, I don't know how to do anything. I don't know, like, I'm not as good as them.
Right. And then what happened after you went 10, 11, 5, 2 times?
I mean, I liked it. I still wasn't as good, but it was fun.
But you have fun. You were, you have fun. You knew what to expect. You got to be with your friends. You knew that maybe you could go get something, like go get some ice cream afterwards. Whatever that was, it became a habit. It became comfortable. Right. But when we're adults, guess what? There's no parent going in saying, you have to do this.
Right.
Right? So somehow when we get to be adults, we think that conversation has much more meaning. Like we know that has to be true.
Right. Well, because it is like, I can see that it holds more weight because it's like actually in our voice, like it is us talking to us.
Right. Yes. It's not from the outside. It's actually inside. It is.
So how can we like get over that? Or what do we do from how can we fix our brain?
Yeah. So I think that's a really good question. So what are some of the ways you've tried? How did you get over that? What were some of the things you did?
Well,
can you remember?
Yeah, I do. I mean, yes, because making calls, for me, I learned how to do that from when I was at Career Builder. And so the way that I got over it was like, that's the only way I could make money. So I needed money. So I was like, if this is what I have to do, I mean, that was what I was measured on. So I did have not a parent, but a boss that was like, you have to make this. And he had he recorded us. So it's like we were tracked. It was like, you had to be on the phone for this amount of time. You had to make this many dials. You had to set this many appointments. And so I had to. And then I remember the second phase was I made it a game. So I would play a game with myself that was like, okay, well, if I, set this many appointments or got my numbers, then I could just leave. But then I also couldn't leave when I didn't. So there were times I was there until 8 or 9 at night, getting through the game. I made it a bingo game.
Right. So what you're saying is really great. First, you have to decide. You make a decision that this is how you get to where you want to be. It's actually, you made a decision. You went down this path and all of a sudden you had to decide.
Yeah. It was like my back was against the wall.
Right. And many times it takes a decision, not just a goal, a decision. Because see, we hear those voices 100%. When we make a decision, it's 100% also.
That's true, because there's so many times when you make a decision, it's all of a sudden it's the light goes on, or it's like a switch. It's oh, and then it's kind of floods. But there are still times though, and I'm even now, I mean, I've been doing it for 10 years, but even now it's I don't feel like it.
Right. But you're not going to stop that voice. You're not going to stop it. It's automatic.
Can we make it quieter?
I find that the way to quiet, okay, so you can quiet it, but it's not quieting like maybe you're saying it gets lower. It
Yeah.
actually gets quiet when you actually recognize that that is just a thought. And what I do is say, okay, so what other thoughts can I have? Like I actually start asking the voice a question, because the voice is me. There's other thoughts. I just haven't had any. I haven't stopped to ask it. So it's going to do the first response, whatever it is. And it's likely from, like, say you went to bed a little later than normal. So now your routine has changed. And so your body does not, that voice doesn't want to exert any energy.
Okay.
So any energy, it interprets as, no, we want to keep the same.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't interpret good, bad, right, or wrong. It's going energy, no energy.
Okay, so I think like actually knowing that kind of it helps like kind of reframe it for me. It's like, okay, if that voice is just trying to like not exert energy and I'm tired, then that's like a logical response of being like, well, I don't want to do the work. But then like you're saying, then if I was like, okay, well, what is another option, right? Like what if that's one option, like what are the others? And then I can hear myself like already being like, oh, fine, I'll just do it.
Right. Or you might say, okay, so I've been tired before. Like I've done this before. What did I do before? Maybe, you know, then maybe the game would come up for you. And I go, okay, I'm going to make a game and I'm going to quit if I get 10 calls out there or 2 leads or whatever that game.
Or just call for like the 50 minutes or 20 minutes, or even like, I like to make bets. So like text my friend and be like, I'm gonna make this amount of contacts, or I owe you like whatever.
Yeah. You know, and that brings up the other point that you brought originally. You made a game out of it. Actually figuring out for you where you can set up accountabilities is so important, because we can fool ourselves.
Yeah.
We can even not know in our have you ever driven somewhere and had no idea how you actually got there? Don't remember locking your door, don't remember, but you just got there.
I mean, I never know like where I am or how I got places. So yes, every day.
Every day.
I was like, oh.
But you know, it's like you put your keys somewhere and maybe it's not where you normally put them.
Right.
And then you can't find them. But you don't even remember. It's like retrace your steps. Okay, I don't remember my steps. I got to stop and think about it.
Yeah.
So we can go, we're on autopilot. That's autopilot. And we're on autopilot a lot of our day.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, making calls.
Well, that goes along with like just not wanting to exert the energy, just to keep like with the, I don't want to live that life.
Right.
Sounds so boring.
You know, I mean, the good part of that is that when you want to, you have a lot of energy. So you don't actually have to exert energy. So you don't want to exert it. I think you don't want to exert it in saying, no, I don't want those negative thoughts. No, I can't do it, because all you're doing is taking all your energy and focusing on what you don't want.
Because energy is like finite, is it?
It's not finite necessarily. It just, energy you can't define where it's going. Your energy can go to fear. Your energy can go, you have energy. You can have more or less depending on food, water. There's many variables.
True. Okay.
You know, athletes, if you're an athlete, if you have an illness.
But if you're going to spend it on something, like it's just as easy, to your point, to like maybe ask your brain like a question rather than trying to like stop it. I would think too that anytime you're trying to like stop something, it feels like it becomes more persistent.
Well, it does. I mean, it does. It's a saying, that which you resist persists. That's a saying, right? But you can just think about it. If I tell you, don't think about that pink elephant that's behind you,
I'm going to do it.
You're just going to think about it. That's all you can think about it. And you can test it on yourself. When you think, I don't want to do something, all you think about is that you don't want to do it.
Right. Exactly.
Just like if you think about you want to do, I'm so excited. It's Friday night, and tonight I'm going to go meet my friend, and we're going to social distance, but we're going to have a really great time. And I haven't seen her in so long. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
You know, it goes both ways.
Right.
But that energy is fun. The other
it's more, it like fuels even more energy too.
Yeah.
It's
Or
not
it does.
exhausting.
It does. Or even if you're an introvert and maybe you don't get fueled that way, it's a lot less energy to be excited than
Yeah.
it is to be afraid.
So, okay, so if we're as agents experiencing this, and we'll just stick with like the example of the call reluctance, right? Like we don't want to make the call, we don't want to like do the work in some way, whatever that work is.
Mhm.
When your brain like starts chattering, you're saying, ask it like, what else is there? Like, what are the other ways?
I actually do a two-step. First, I say, okay, like I
Oh,
just accept it.
okay,
Accept it. Don't resist it. Okay,
okay,
that's a thought. I'm tired. I don't, okay.
okay.
And then wait a little bit. Like take a minute. Be okay with it. Like actually be okay with that. And then ask, because then you're finally like, you're like present. It's actually the power of being present
Hmm.
to what you actually want, not the effect of a response or a thought that just came up because you were tired, not because you really think that. It's just that's the first response your subconscious thought about.
Right.
Because it's your next action. It could be
Yeah.
no different if you had to clean the house or go pick up the kids, or it doesn't matter what the next action was. You
Uh-huh.
don't feel like doing it.
Right.
This one just happens to be calls.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I like that. I think that would be like fun to try, and you could really do it like on anything.
It's really fun to start thinking, okay, if you keep asking, you'll get more than one other option. You'll get like 2 or 3 or 4. And it can be the game of, oh my gosh, there's all these options. And how it can serve you is that you can actually start having a picture in front of you where you work of the different options. Like you
Yeah.
can have a face that put a visual to it, because much of what when we see something, we visualize it. When we see it, it becomes real to us, more real
Yeah.
than even words. So when you find those things, they do negative reinforcement and positive reinforcement. You can
Mm-hmm.
just put a funny monkey sign up with that smiling with a kiss and just laugh, and all of a sudden nothing seems near as
Yeah,
important as
it's not as hard, right? That's
right.
so funny. That's true. That
Right.
makes
So
sense.
that's how you really create the tools that you need to just, you're going to still have it and it's going to be okay. And then you
Yeah.
do it anyway because it's really okay. It's just
Right.
the yippee of it's gone.
Yeah.
And
But
that's
like you said, I like that's like making a choice. Like, if this is the way to do what you want to do, and you've already decided that, then saying okay to your little voice, and then you said wait 30 seconds or a minute, even set a timer, and then be
yeah.
like, what are the other choices?
And another voice may come up and say the same thing and just keep saying, okay, okay. And just get up and start moving. You got to get dressed anyway. So you just get up and you move. And I mean, I did it the other day. It was so funny. I mean, I'm up, I'm like, I'm really tired. And I get up and I'm like, okay. And then I go in, I brush my teeth. I'm like, I'm really tired. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
And I just keep moving. And all of a sudden I'm outside taking the dog out and come back in and I'm ready to go. All of a sudden it just changed. And then I go, okay, so what do I want to do today? What do I need
Yeah.
to do? It's the craziest thing.
That's
But it's
awesome.
fun and it's not draining. So you actually are tired, because if you keep focusing on how tired you are,
Then you're going to be tired.
yeah. You'll be exhausted and you won't be able to do it because that's all you've told your brain.
That's so weird. We are some crazy. So, okay, if people want to learn more about like what you do, the brain health, like how you can help them, where is the best place for them to go?
So probably emailing me at Becky@Regain the Brain.
Okay. Well, and I'll
And you can
tag you in this too so they can message you.
message me, absolutely. And you can give them my phone number, they can call. And
Okay.
I have lots
You
of
can give
great
it on here.
859-992-4361.
Nice.
Yeah, great.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Mom. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you.
Have a good one.
That's fun. Okay, take care.